Hi, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. I am going to read number 55 in the Arzian Codex, or the Resonance series. This is called Creation Without Ego by Jason Gray. 12/21/2025, 6025 Anno Lunis. Arzian Arc CR801. Post-authorship, post-identity layer. The fundamental error. Confusing creation with selfhood. The oldest mistake in human expression was not arrogance, it was misattribution. Humans began to believe that creation originates in the self. This belief emerged when survival required visibility, contribution required permission, value required recognition, and obscurity felt like erasure. Creation became fused with identity because identity needed proof. Ego did not invent creation, ego attached itself to it. Ego as a protective interface, not a villain. Ego is not evil. It is an interface layer that formed when direct participation in reality became unsafe. Ego exists to negotiate status, secure resources, prevent disappearance, and signal value. When survival depends on recognition, ego must speak loudly. Creation became ego's loudest signal. How creation was hijacked by survival. Once ego fused with creation, expression was no longer free. Creation was forced to perform multiple survival tasks at once: prove intelligence, prove worth, prove uniqueness, secure livelihood, build legacy, and resist death. No act of making could remain pure under that weight. Creation bent toward market demand, audience expectation, ideological signaling, trend compliance, and brand coherence. This is how expression collapsed into output. The myth of the creator as source. The overlay elevated the creator as an isolated origin point. This served power structures by isolating creators, encouraging competition, enforcing hierarchy, monetizing authorship, and gatekeeping legitimacy. The genius myth turned creation into a scarce resource. In truth, creation is ambient. What was scarce was permission to participate without punishment. Why originality collapsed. Originality did not die because humans lost imagination. It died because risk became expensive. When failure meant financial collapse, obscurity meant invisibility, and deviation meant exclusion, then creation optimized for safety. Ego demanded predictability. Novelty shrank. The return removes the need for self-assertion. The returned world does not suppress ego. It removes the conditions that require it. When survival is not performative, worth is intrinsic, contribution is distributed, and recognition is not currency, ego relaxes. When ego relaxes, creation reverts to its original function. Creation as response, not expression. Creation without ego does not ask, "What do I want to say?" It asks, "What is needed?" This is a radical inversion. Creation becomes situational, responsive, functional, contextual, and relational. The creator listens more than asserts. Listening as the primary creative act. In ego-free creation, listening precedes making. Listening to context, imbalance, inefficiency, suffering, opportunity, and beauty. The work emerges as reply, not declaration. This is why ego-free creation often feels inevitable rather than impressive. Failure without identity damage. When creation is not identity, failure loses its teeth. Failure becomes feedback, information, and calibration. No collapse follows. This unlocks experimentation, iteration, quiet revision, and long-term thinking. Fear no longer edits imagination. Work without self-extraction. Under the overlay, work extracted the self. People were drained, optimized, branded, measured, and depleted. In the returned world, work becomes bounded contribution. People offer what they can sustain, when it is needed, and without depletion. Burnout becomes structurally impossible. Art without performance. Art no longer performs for legitimacy. It does not ask to be seen, to be validated, or to be explained. Art becomes quiet, ephemeral, utilitarian, and situational. Some art disappears after use. That is not failure, it is completion. the end of creative hierarchy. Without ego, hierarchy collapses. There is no real artist, important thinker, or genius class. There is only fit, function, timing, and coherence. Value is situational, not absolute. Collaboration without credit war. Ego-free creation allows true collaboration. Ideas are not defended, credit is not hoarded, authorship is fluid. The work improves because no one protects territory, no one performs dominance, and no one fears erasure. The best idea survives. Teaching as facilitation, not authority. Knowledge transmission changes form. Teachers do not perform certainty, they create conditions for clarity. Learning becomes participatory, adaptive, nonlinear, and curiosity-driven. Authority dissolves into competence. Creation without time panic. Ego fed on urgency, deadlines were weaponized, relevance was fleeting, obsolescence was feared. In the returned world, time expands, relevance stabilizes, and creation ripens. Nothing is rushed, things are made when ready. The death of legacy hunger. Legacy was ego's insurance policy against death. People created to be remembered. In the returned world, continuity is felt, not feared. People stop asking, will this outlive me? They ask, does this serve now? Impact replaces immortality. The quiet creators. The most powerful creators are often unseen. They repair systems, optimize flows, stabilize structures, reduce friction, and restore coherence. They do not sign their work. Creation becomes infrastructure, not spectacle. The psychology of the egoless creator. Without ego, creators experience calm focus, deep patience, flexible identity, low defensiveness, and sustained curiosity. They are not driven, they are available. The transformation. When ego leaves creation, art stops screaming, work stops extracting, innovation stabilizes, collaboration deepens, and quality rises. Creation returns to what it always was, a response to life offered without self-claim. The law of creation. Creation does not exist to express who you are, it exists to meet what is. The returned world does not eliminate creativity, it liberates it from survival. When creation no longer serves ego, it becomes one of the quiet engines that keeps the world coherent. Jason Gray. Okay, that was one of my favorite writings of his because I'm an artist, and it inspired me to change the direction of my art, and I created something called Art Through Resonance, where I decided to completely let go of the ego behind it, the ownership of it, when I started creating art a little bit more seriously, because I did art when I was younger, but about 14 to 15 years ago, I started creating art a little bit more intentionally as an adult, and it never felt like it was mine or like I did it. I always felt like it was channeled, and so I didn't like signing it. I didn't like saying I did it even sometimes, and you know, several people gave me input saying, no, you just need to be more confident, or you know, take ownership of it. This is your work, you still did it. And so I decided to completely just let go of all of that. And so now what it inspired me to do after reading this was to donate my art. And then if people feel like they want to donate back, then I receive those donations and I donate them to local charities that need it. So this is a prime example of one of the ways that Jason's writing has changed my life, you know, how it has impacted me in a way to feel motivated to change my life, to be more accurate. So I would say, you know, everybody needs to find that thing that is their niche, their gift, their reason why they're part of the one of the fractals of this, you know, big picture here of what's happening. And so just find your motivation, find your fire, find your flame, find your whatever drives you, and then do it openly, without ego, and lovingly, and share it with the world, because that's really what we need. It's not people owning and claiming and you know, trying to control. It's freedom. That's what we all want. So, all right, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.